Bob. I heard this saying as a Sea Org member and Scientologist for years concerning inadequacies of clears. I'm only clear on the first dynamic, you know. It's interesting. It had been the go-to excuse for any quote-unquote human behavior that betrays the definitions of clear and pre-OTs. It drew a lot of cognitive dissonance and unease for me as I was born to two clear parents, and that was used to justify anything suboptimal with their behavior. It's only in my 30s when I decided to leave Scientology and decompress, I heard the line again and I had an internal brain explosion. What does that even mean? I don't even know where it's from and if it is from Hubbard. Okay, Bob, cool. So I'm only clear on the first dynamic. And this actually is, well, it's kind of reflected right on the grade chart. So it is a thing that comes from Hubbard. There's no question about that. And Hubbard stressed in a few places that a clear is in danger, is actually needs to get onto and up through the OT levels, especially through OT3, as quickly as possible because a clear is at risk. What are they at risk of? The body thetans, right? And all the crap that's sitting there that's just like waiting to pounce on the guy now that he has achieved the state of clear, okay? So clear is this wonderful state of being that Dianetics first promised and Scientology still to this day delivers on, where you're supposed to be in a state of no longer at the effect of, or no longer plagued by or traumatized by past incidents of pain and trauma and subconscious commands that are inflicted on you by this thing called the reactive mind that you carry around with you. It's part of your mind. So you have these, all these traumatic episodes that you've carried around for millions, billions, trillions of years, and they have a, non-optimum effect on you. Well, you go clear, though it's all gone, supposedly, right? And with all that gone, you personally, as a thetan, just you, your first dynamic, right? Just you, the self. You don't have a reactive mind anymore. Okay, it's gone. And I used to go crazy trying to figure out myself what it meant to be clear on all the dynamics. Okay, this is another description that's used internally in Scientology to describe these states. So clear is a first dynamic activity. It's self. Going OT is clearing the rest of your dynamics. And your dynamics are basically your spheres of operation in your life, okay? The spheres of influence that you have, starting with yourself first, family, sex, children, that's second dynamic. Groups you're part of, that's the third dynamic. Mankind as a whole, that's the fourth dynamic. You see, it's this concentric circle concept of ever-growing expansion and responsibility and influence. And you always are operating on the 8 dynamics all the way out to infinity and God. You're always aware of and operating on all 8 dynamics to one degree or another. But you're trying to go full OT. That means you're trying to clear all the stress and trauma and horrible stuff across all 8 of the dynamics. And when, you couldn't talk in Scientology about body thetans because it's all confidential. But all those body thetans have their own reactive mind. And this is why people at the lower levels of Scientology, the confidentiality thing is why you can't figure out what this statement means. You're only clear on the first dynamic. Well, how do I go clear on the second dynamic or the third dynamic or the fourth dynamic? Well, you got to get rid of all these body thetans because their reactive minds are impinging on them as spiritual entities, but it's also impinging on you because you're carrying them around with you and they talk to you and they influence you and their pictures look like your pictures, your mental image pictures. And so you confuse your thoughts for their thoughts, their engrams, their moments of stress and trauma with yours. It's all a big jumbled mess. So going clear, getting up to that level, Well, now you're okay. You don't have that reactive mind anymore, but you've got thousands of these body thetans stuck on you, and they have reactive minds. And you are surrounded by people in the environment around you who have reactive minds. And all collectively, all those reactive minds are the cause, according to Hubbard, of war, insanity, illiteracy, crime, all of it. Every bad thing that's going on in the world is due to this collection of reactive minds. And that's the first thing that's supposed to be handled in Scientology is get everybody up to clear, but you got to get to the OT levels to start telepathically dealing with all these body thetans, okay? And that's why it's only clear on the first dynamic. At least that's one explanation for it. And it's the one I've come up with after I've gone through all the OT level material and tried to figure out what's all this crap is about. So I hope that is illuminating or helpful for you. There you go.